where city boys go.
Hi, everybody. You're so quiet, all the murmuring of it. It's making me nervous. Welcome to the Beaverton City Library and the Travel Story Slam, man.
Yeah, travel edition.
Travel edition of Story Slam. This is our second or third travel story slam? Second, for sure.
Second.
I'm Blaine Ross. I'm a reference assistant here at the Beaverton Library, along with my partner Ann Valley over here. We're both reference assistants, and we run this little program. We do it 3 or 4 times a year, and this is, well, how many were here for the January Story Slam? Oh, wait a second, it's a trick question. It got canceled. Yeah, it was when we had all that snow. Yeah, that was a bummer. That was supposed to be beginning, so I did let people know if they had a beginning story they could tell tonight, but you can also say that we'll do it another time too. We use a microphone, and the reason we do that is because we are recording it, and so hopefully you'll be fine with that. We'll adjust it as necessary for your height. We also have a photographer here tonight. He's going to be taking pictures. He's a volunteer at the library, and he'll be photographing everyone. If you're okay with that, we'd like you to have you sign a photo release afterwards. Then we can use you in library publicity in the future. So let us know if that's okay, and just sign a photo release. I do record these shows, and I put them on. I have a little YouTube channel. I put them on there so people can see what they look like when they're telling stories. So let me know if you don't want to be on there. I can edit you out of the final cut. So if you've got a cell phone, you can turn that off or silence it. That would be great. How many people are new who've never been to one of the slams here before? Wow. Okay,
yeah,
so
that's great.
That's quite a few. Awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome. We do have a little survey out there, and it's helpful if you fill it out after the show. If nothing else, to give us your email, we can put you on a list to inform you of upcoming Story Slam events and other storytelling things we do here at the library. What am I forgetting here? Oh, there's some rules.
Yeah, there's some rules.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about the rules. Yeah. So the rules are the stories must be true, and they should have happened to you, and you can't use notes. You have to tell them from memory. And the story should be anywhere from 5 up to about 10 minutes. We have a little noise device, which we're reluctant to use, but we will use it maybe at around 8 minutes to warn you, to let you know you got a couple minutes to wrap it up. And then if it looks like you're really nowhere near wrapping it up at 10 minutes, and you're starting on chapter 2, you might hear something like this. Yes. So, I think that's it for the rules.
Yeah, I think that's it for the rules.
Of course, we're going to have a drawing at the end of anyone who tells. And we have a $10 gift certificate to the book corner, courtesy of the new friends of the Beaverton City Library. And that'll be a random drawing from anyone who gets up and tells. I think we have about 8 or 9 names in the hat right now. If you are on the fence about telling and you change your, you change your mind, you don't want to tell, or we call your name, just you can say so. If you want to add your name at the end and say, oh, I want to tell, or whatever, just let us know, just raise your hand and we'll give anyone else a chance to tell. So with all of that out of the way, there's bathrooms out there. We've left the side doors open, they're unlocked, so if you need to go, those are open. We schedule about an hour and a half for the show. It usually takes about that long to get everyone in. We've never had to deny anyone the chance to tell before, so if I shut up, we can get going.
Yeah.
So why don't we have the first name?
Okay. Do you want to draw it?
No, you do.
Oh, I'm going to draw it. Okay. The first name is Jonathan Whitesell.
Jonathan Whitesell. Jonathan, you want to say hello? Come on up. Let's see, you're kind of tall.
Yes.
You
Could mess up your situation right off the bat. Should work just fine.
Yeah, okay.
All right, right out of the chute. I'm one of the new storytellers, as you mentioned. My name is Jonathan Whitesell. A little bit about me real quick. I'm 24 years old. New to the Portland area. And I was a foreign exchange student to Italy a couple of years ago for about a full year. So I'm fluent in Italian, which is important for this story. Our family never really spent a lot of time exploring genealogy. There's still a lot we don't know about ourselves. But like a good white family, we are a myriad combination of a lot of Eurocentric cultures. I'm sure that I'm 35% German, 20% Welsh, 2% milk. What I do know, though, my parents always told us that we were exactly 1/8 Swiss. Thanks, Mom. That means a whole lot, or that's vague. But the Swiss side comes from my great-great-grandmother on my dad's side, who married my grandfather Brackett. I always heard a lot of stories of great Grandpa Brackett. He was a soldier who served some time in Europe. He collected a lot of stones out in the west of the U.S. He's a really cool guy. One of my favorites, he wooed my great grandmother Tanya by picking her up a rosary from the Vatican City in Italy, where he was stationed for a time, and having it blessed by Pope Pius XII himself, using that to propose and bring her back from Switzerland to America. We've always wanted to let my grandmother, their daughter, go back to her roots and sort of experience that. And we actually got the chance in 2011, I think? 2012. We were having a big family trip to Italy. I was sort of showing around because, hey, that's my stomping ground. I can speak Italian for you guys. And my grandparents were there, and Dad said, all right, we're going on a special trip that we've always wanted to do. This was a gift from my dad to my grandparents, so nobody was allowed to go except for them. And a translator. The town of Viniken, Switzerland, is not located in the Italian section of Switzerland. This we did not really know. It's located north and a little bit to the west of Lake Lucerne. But my Italian did get us pretty far. Through all the south of Switzerland, we finally arrived at this town. And Grandma had brought all of these photos that she had. The church, the town where her mother grew up, or the house where her mother grew up. We knew very little other than that. So we arrived in this very small little village in Switzerland. So there are these huge, the Alps are amazing. The scenery is lovely, the day is gorgeous. This little European Switzerland church is up top, and there's so many moments. I remember the moment where we stood her on the porch of her mom's old house and got the exact same photo of my great aunt Tanya like this with her bags, the 2 suitcases that she brought from Switzerland to America in front of the house. It was amazing. goodness, I remember there were moments where she just had to sit down in tears because it was so impactful for her to be in this world. And of course, I'm the explorer type, so I'm going around kind of looking at everything, taking pictures. You know, this church is amazing. This small cemetery is amazing. And I happened to see a lady on her front porch in one of the nearby houses. So I thought, okay, well, let's see if maybe she knows who lives in the house now. Maybe we can talk to them. Maybe we can, find out more, like their house history. What do we not know about this place? What can we learn from the locals? Hey, how you doing? She says, sprechen Sie Deutsch? I don't speak Deutsch. So I go, parle italiano. Francais? 2 languages between both of us. Sorry, 4 languages between both of us, and not a single one is communicated. But I was determined. So I was like, all right, well, I know enough German to kind of get out. So I kind of explained, hey, we're family. My great-grandmother grew up here. We just wanted to find out some more. She's very, very confused. I'm sure I didn't get any of that out. So I borrow from my grandmother really quickly this little stack of index cards that she has of addresses, old contacts. Primarily what she used to finally send letters back to Switzerland when my great-grandmother did die, and tell all the Swiss family. So I showed her this, and she kind of flips through it really quick, and she stops on it and just goes. And then there was this 30-second spew of German I caught inside, phone call, and a door in my face. So now I have to turn around to my grandparents, who, God bless them, are the strict type and not as fast to understanding, and explain to them that I have no idea what just happened, and a very important family heirloom piece I've just given to a complete stranger who could have locked the door on me and we may never see it again. 5 minutes of this passes where I tell them, oh, she's going inside, she's going to make a phone call. I think that she knows something, Grandma. Jonathan, what's going on? It's been a while. That's really important to us, No. So, finally, this lady comes out, and in her best Germanglish says, go up the street, somebody up the street. Street. Danke. I was just glad to have those addresses back. Not really sure what to tell my grandparents because I didn't understand a whole lot of it. I said, I think that there's somebody she wants us to meet just a little bit up the way. So we head up Dorfstrasse, and sure enough, at this very small house, and all in white, there's flowers everywhere. One thing you should probably know about my grandmother, she loves flowers. I don't know if the love of forestry and just flora is ingrained in the family, but I feel like it is. My dad is green thumb. There was this umbrella stand in our house that was painted really with floral designs. It was all over my childhood with my grandparents. So even just this scene, somehow, each step, each little layer that kind of got on, there's this mysterious person in this town so deeply connected to my grandmother's family. These flowers, everything just sort of kept clicking and clicking and clicking. We finally go up the street, and there's this, I swear, this tall, little old woman who is standing like this, kind of looking out on this really sunny day to see these people, these Americans, coming up the street to talk to her. I'm going to ruin the story really quick for you guys. I have a great, great aunt in Switzerland that we discovered after 3 generations of lost contact.
Wow.
So we go to meet this woman, and she only speaks German. So she's trying to explain to us, and I'm like, doing the best I can to translate. Of the four of us, I'm the only one who knows anything other than English, and I'm like, I don't know a lot of German, but I get that somebody is coming to help. And it was her neighbor, Isabella. Now, Isabella knew a lot of English, which is a really good thing, because between the two of us, we made the best tag team translation that we probably could have gotten in that very small village. So she welcomes us into her house, she makes us tea, and she's showing us these photo albums of pictures we hadn't even seen of my great-grandmother, Tanya. And like, imagine being my grandmother, being the daughter of this Swiss woman, this Swiss war bride, with all of this huge body of stories. Hearing about them in all your life, never seeing it, never even dreaming of the day that you might go to Switzerland to visit this. And here in front of you is your Aunt Bertie talking to you through like two different people because you don't even speak the same language. And she was showing us pictures of when my great-grandmother was young, and even more photos of when she left, photos of my great-grandmother Brackett we'd never seen in our lives. 4 generations of my family met in a little house in Vatican, Switzerland, completely by accident. And even better still, remember the umbrella stand? The one with the little flowers painted on it? So she was showing us around her house, right? And we were sort of still enjoying the Swiss chocolates, just of course, still enjoying our tea with her. And we noticed a piece of furniture that had a very similar design, similar wood. And she said, "Oh, I painted that." And that's the story of how I met my long lost great Swiss aunt and finally answered the mystery of, Mom, what does it even mean to be 1/8 Swiss?
Thank you, Jonathan. That was a great story. Did you say, was that Vinnigan?
Finnegan.
Vinnigan, okay. All right, wasn't sure if I recognized the place. Wow, that was great. So did the great aunt, she didn't paint the umbrella stand, did she?
She did.
She did.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, she did a whole line of furniture,
Okay.
and like the whole design was just sort of hers.
So you told her you had this umbrella stand. Oh, wow.
Oh yes.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
It was incredible.
Wow.
Amazing.
Great job. Well, okay, and who's next?
Okay. Let's see.
I'm guessing they're going to be shorter than Jonathan, so I'll start going like.
The next one is Bill.
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 No, Bill's tall too. I remember Bill. He's tall before. All right, welcome, Bill.
I feel like I'm talking into your chin. That's Lord. Okay, so travel stories. Many years ago, when our 30-some-year-old kids were 11 and 5 and 6, and like that, we decided to go from New Mexico to the Grand Canyon on a vacation, and we're going to arrive. Dad, we're going to arrive at sunrise on the Grand Canyon. That's the plan. Albuquerque to wherever they hide the Grand Canyon, Arizona. So 8 hours, long drive, 3 kids, oh my God, takes forever, finding people all night long. They're in January because it's off season. So stupid. Must be a husband or something. In any case, we did it, man, we did it. The clock, it's late, it's dark, let's get to the perfect time. It would never happen again. And the sun comes up, and it's the most even wall of fog I've ever seen in my life. We're at the railing. I can see my shoes on the Grand. So it gets more exciting. We're pulling from the lodge, and there's a shuttle that belongs to the Grand Canyon Lodge, and he's coming through like their turnaround thing, but it's all ice. So we have an Oldsmobile from Hades. It's so beat up, it's a monster. Anyway, it's got 4 doors, and the doors open, driver's door is open, and I'm getting in or out or something, dealing with the kid. And the kid driving the shuttle, he's coming around, and he tries to slow down, and, you know, I don't know if you grew up in Florida maybe, but if you're on a curve on ice and you touch the brake, you're gonna go like, and all he had to do was let go of the brake, and he would have gone back around, but he came right in to the side, the edge of my driver's door. And he came right into it, and the door just did that little, you know, and then it slipped. I wish rather have broken the door and let him just keep the car all the way around us, you know, but it kind of chinged back in against me, and I was standing in there in the door, and it's like, I'm not gonna get in in time, and it's that weird slow motion. You see the van, it's like, what I gotta do, you know? And he just, and he did slam the back right of the shuttle thing, hit the front left of our Oldsmobile from Hades. Scratched my car, and it just jacked it all up. So we had insurance. My father was still alive, thank God. He called everyone to do it right. Because Billy, I got no pull with people. And some people, you ever notice that they just got oomph, you know? Somebody said, hey, would you help me? Oh, I'm like, oh, anyway, so every story is supposed to have like a big tie it all together.
Was there, I just got to put your name in here, I think. Alani?
Alani?
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't, was that your husband who?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Come on up.
Hi, my name is Noelani, and if you haven't figured it out, that is a Hawaiian name. And if you have to ask the question, yes, I'm from Hawaii. Now, Hawaii is the farthest landmass, the most isolated landmass in the world, right? It's 5 hours by plane to the next nearest place, the West Coast. So, if you travel, you're in for the long haul. It's going to be a long flight. But I did not let that stop me. I've always been really interested in, cultures and trying new things and meeting new people. So, by the time I was 18, by the time I graduated high school, thanks to my dad, I had the opportunity to visit 15 different states and Mexico. And after I graduated high school, I was still smitten with that travel bug, not a drug trip. For this trip, I did not have to get on a plane, and I did not hear any languages except for English, and I didn't eat anything more exotic than mac and cheese. But I would say that this was the best trip of my life.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you like my hair?
Sure.
Wait, have it.
Now, generally when I'm traveling, I'm looking for something new and challenging and interesting. But in this time I would travel, I wasn't looking for something different. I was looking for somebody like me. So I have this hairstyle for a very particular reason. I'm what they call a compulsive hair puller. It's medically known as trichotillomania. And I've had this since I was about 13 or so. In 1994, I'm going to backtrack this a little bit. In 1994, I got married, and my husband, he saw that I had this affliction and it really bothered me. And he said, well, why don't you just shave your hair off? And I went, oh, well, why don't I? So I thought about it for a very brief amount of time, and honestly, it felt like the right decision to make, so I did it. And I thought shaving my head off, would solve two problems. One is, I didn't really like living in secrecy. I just found that to be very stressful, like always hiding under a hat or hiding under a wig. I didn't like that lifestyle, so I said, okay, I'm just gonna put myself on the table and whatever happens. So I thought I'll just live my life honestly. The other thing I thought could help with shaving my hair was I could maybe not be so tempted to pull my hair out. So both of those intentions pretty much failed. So it turns out you can pull out hair even in this state because there's this gadget here called a tweezer. And then I noticed that people weren't really seeing me as a hair puller, but they were seeing me more like a Buddhist, lesbian, cancer survivor. So nonetheless, in 1997, I went on this retreat. And it was a retreat sponsored by the Trichotillomania Learning Center. And it was like none other. I had met other hair pullers in support groups, but these hair pullers, they had families, and they had jobs, and they had lives, and they had hair. Some of it was not real hair, but they had what looked like hair. So I go to this retreat, and these women, it was mostly women, they had the courage to just be who they are, no matter how their hair looked like, even their raw physical state. So 80% of the attendees were women, because somehow trichotillomania affects more women than men. So when I got to the retreat, I stayed in a cabin with 6 other women for 5 days, and I slept on a bunk bed. And these women literally let their hair down. They let their ponytails down, they took off their hats and their wigs and their scarves. And they did not put on any 5 false eyelashes or brow liner or eyeliner. They just were. And I had a great time with these ladies, we really connected. So for 5 days, we were on this retreat and we attended seminars. We learned about scientific advancements, and we learned about behavior modification, and we learned about substitution therapy. We listened to experts and psychiatrists and psychologists, and we did the unthinkable. We went swimming in a lake, and we got our hair wet. And not for me, but for many of the women, the wet hair just exposes all the damage to your hair that you've done to your scalp. But you can't do that out in regular society. So it was pretty much the shortest, least exotic trip I'd ever been on. But I left with the confidence that I wasn't alone in my suffering. I believe that I could maybe one day get better, which I have. I learned that I don't have to be ashamed of myself, and the hair pulling is not my fault, it's not anybody's fault. And I learned how to forgive myself. So this short little trip I took, I learned a little bit about the world. I learned a lot about myself.
Thank you, Ronnie. Great story. I don't know what else to say. You said it all. Anne.
All right.
Who's
Let's see.
next?
Our next teller is Kristen Webb Thompson.
Kristen, come on up.
Kristen, and I want to tell a story about my superb time in Italy. We hit the jackpot. In 2004, we got a chance to go to Italy on their dime. In 2004, Genova was the designated one of two cities, European capital of culture. The birthplace of Christopher Columbus. My husband was awarded a research fellowship at the Università degli Studi di Genova. And they paid for our travel over there, 3 months, the stipend that we were living there. And we were at limited means at the time, so it was like, woohoo, we're going. They were looking for candidates for their doctoral program. Now, we were not the typical candidate because I hadn't been in industry and wasn't that young student just trying to finish education. So we're looking at maybe staying in the dorm. But we hit the jackpot again because Jessica, the department admin, knew a friend, Mario, who was living in Milano, and he was not using his Genova condo. So he rented it to us for 500 euros a month, which is like $864. This condo was beautifully updated. It had 12 16-foot ceilings made out of cement and had 3-inch thick doors. I can just imagine the mafia, so trying to knock it down. It was built in 1823 because it had a iron plate on the outside of the building. From the third floor balcony, I could see out to the shore and the commercial docks where boats could come in, or cruise ships, Hanjin and Maersk containers decorating the port and the city. Genova is a city like San Francisco, steep hills that run right down into the sea. And just like we have our nickname cities, Rose City, Big Apple, Big Easy, their nickname is La Superba, the superb. It's an old city. Old buildings, old streets, and you think the streets were kind of disorganized, but there's actually a method to their madness. It comes from a time when ships would come into the port, and then the people would fan out to their respective commerces, banks, shopping. So it's not like spider webs on top of each other. And the little ridiculous streets are like half the size of our alleyways. Professor Anguita could not believe that we only came with one carry-on and a shoulder bag for the 3 months that we were there. His shoulder bag was our PowerBook G4 Mac. And we had created an auto forward for our blog. There was no phone or internet access at the condo, but there was at the university. So we type our email, save it to a 64 meg thumb drive, and then take it to the university where it's uploaded. I didn't have school to go to, but I did have lessons to learn. Lessons like chill out, relax, let go, let God, no fussing. I would waste my time in the apartment nesting, or writing in my Italian journal, or exploring the neighborhood. We got bus passes, month bus passes. One time I took the funicular up the hill and a commuter train out to the countryside. And I would ride the bus, pick one, and go out to the end of the line and come back. One time, I didn't know what stop I was to get off at because they looked different. But there was this little Hispanic lady came up to me on the bus without prompting, and she spoke to me in English, and she said, "This is the bus stop you have to get off at, and this is the direction you go for your street." I had never seen her before. She was my little abuela angel. There were other wonderful things like that. One time, I needed to hem up my pants. And when the lady made me look at I didn't have a sewing kit. I didn't want to buy one. I didn't use those pants for a while. One time I was taking a meander up the hill on a brick pathway to the local chiesa that had a beautiful view of the city in the foreground. There was a gnarled tree out there that had blown by the wind and grown that way. In the tree stabbed in the bark with a needle and a school thread. Thank you. And there was one time, speaking of which, I was hanging up the clothes out the kitchen window, you know, on the ground. And I must have been on the way in, I dropped the sock. Down 3 floors, and somebody's back there, how was I gonna get my sock? I knew the people were still on vacation, wouldn't be back for another week. Well, I guess I'll ask them in a week for my sock. But lo and behold, the next day, I open up my kitchen window, and there's my sock, hanging from a string. Coming from heaven. So I was glad it wasn't underwear. I took the sock off, wrote a little note back in, and put it back up. Next morning, it was gone. Never found out who they were. How did they know I dropped it? How did they get it back here? How did they know it put it? Long about Valentine's weekend, my husband was suffering from it too. And the herbs we got from the pharmacy were not working anymore. So we had to do something a little bit more serious. We asked the downstairs couple, Enrico and Rose. Enrico was Italian and Rose was Dutch, but they both spoke English. Matter of fact, she helped us out when we broke the piano. Enrico called his dentist and made an emergency appointment and wrote us a long note in Italian so we could take it to the dentist and give it. So bright and early, Monday morning, I'm in class, go to Piazza, and when in the office, there's just us. We're the person who's there, the dentist and the nurse and assistant. We're handing this note, and we're trying to gesticulate. They don't speak English, they don't speak Italian, and hoping this procedure can happen. And you know what that dentist? He's such a beauty. You know what he did? Clapped his hands together and said, "Mwah." and then he goes at my husband with the drill. Just like never came happen here. Scusi. Anesthesia. Scusi. Anesthesia. Anesthesia. Well, no. Not needed. Nurse and assistant. It was normal. Did that eyelash. They did the procedure. We did find out from the professor that, yes, not using anesthesia in this case on whatever. Half an hour later, mercury filling is out, pretty white filling is in. We're done. And that was 90 euros, so that was half or a third of what I did here. And we had it straight for a There's lots of great bakeries in Italy. Italy is a place of food. Matter of fact, my favorite chefs are having a wonderful spaghetti sauce. Super good on that. You know what the trick is? You cook it for at least 3 hours. Those models over there, you cook them all day. Over here, you open a jar and spaghetti. Have at it. Not only that, you also put in there Italy, being surrounded on 3 sides of the ocean. You put tuna. Who puts tuna in spaghetti sauce? Thank you. And carrots. Carrots. But I had to learn. It's pretty good. Long ago, in March, they had a severe snowstorm while we were there. Coldest March in 30 years, 18 years, whatever record you're keeping back at. One night there was 6 inches of snow. For a palm tree at the end of the road was drooping over with heavy laden branches. The rows and rows of motorcycles, they were barricaded back there. They weren't going anywhere. And the cast iron fence was actually transformed into a beautiful tapestry of lace. It was near our time that we were starting to have to get ready to go back. But it was okay because we had fallen ill, so we were just slowing down, dragging. We didn't have the resources and the remedies that we would have had at home. But we wanted to get in one more trip. So we went to the Chicoteca. Got to go there with some students from the lab. And we're so thankful that training took us from Devils to Devils so we would hike. enjoyed my time learning Italian, living in an ancient condo, exploring an old city. My husband and I had a 3-month once in a lifetime.
Let me give it to you. That's perfect. Let me just move this out of the way. Can you kind of stay in here though, because we're filming, so we don't lose you at the camera.
Hello, my name is Yassine and I'm a third grader at Bonnie Slope. And I'll be telling you about my boarding trip to Egypt. But before I get to that, this is my first time, so I'm asking you not to laugh at me. We will now be landing in Egypt, the pilot said. Oh boy, I thought to myself, I knew the trip's going to be awful. I didn't want to come here, nothing to do here, and I miss my home. Equals awful. Come on, let's go to a hotel, my dad said after we had landed. We quickly bought our rental car and finally we were ready to go to a hotel. We drove in silence as we drove and we drove for 15 minutes without seeing anything. We looked outside and there was nothing to see. I don't know why my dad chose to come here, but he did. So finally, after 15 minutes of silence, we pulled up to a brown building. And by the looks of it, this was going to make my trip more awful. We walked inside to the building, and my dad talked to the lady to get our key to the room. Meanwhile, I just slumped over my suitcase. Finally, my dad got the key, and we went to the elevator to go up to our room. We went to our room, and we inserted the card into the door. The door swung open, roaring. There was nothing to see. But then my dad came up from behind me and surprised me. He said, "Are you enjoying the trip so far? Because we're only staying here for one more day. So, and we're not going to see anything. We're just going to stay here." And that left me thinking, stay here in the hotel? My dad usually goes outside, visits the place, on vacation. But this time, we were staying here, and for 2 days. That really delighted me. I did not want to stay here. It was the next day, and my family was already awake. So I quickly dressed and brushed to eat breakfast. And finally, we were ready to eat breakfast. We went downstairs, and we started to take food. We sat down at one table, but there was a noise. Zing! My dad pulled out his phone from his pocket, and he had a huge grin on his face. Ozzy, my dad's friend, has invited us for dinner at his hotel tonight. Can't you believe it? It's going to be so much fun. Yeah, I thought to myself. Just, what should we do there? Only one of my dad's friends and nothing to do there. But something left me thinking. How was he here? And was this a surprise? For the next 5 hours, I basically read, did my laptop, did my iPad, and watched TV. It's like you're sitting at your house and doing nothing for 5 hours straight. That's how I felt. Finally, it was 7 p.m., time for the party. We got dressed into nicer clothes for the party. Finally, we were ready and we started driving. After 15 or so minutes of driving, we pulled up to another blue building. And this looked fancier than our hotel, so I had a little hope inside myself. Maybe this would be a little bit more fun than our hotel. I went up to the door and opened it, and I was shocked. All my friends were there. I wanted to ask my dad, was this a surprise? He said yes, and I rushed to play with my friends. We played video games, and we watched TV, and we played board games until it was time for dinner. I went to the living room to get dinner, so I did that. I sat down, but there was a naughty 3-year-old that I knew. He came up to my food, and I pushed him, but just a little too hard. He fell into a fireplace right behind him, and he yelled so loud that his parents came rushing to him. I was quicker. I ran away into another room so we wouldn't know to swing. Luckily, no one else noticed me, so I was in trouble. I was not in trouble. One down, 1,000 more trips to go. And ladies and gentlemen, I have a moral to my story. Can you guess it? The moral is wait till the end of something, and things may turn out the things may turn out not the way that you think it would be.
Thank you, Ashley. There wasn't a fire in that fireplace, was there? Your dad's a crafty individual. I gathered that from some of the other stories. Who's next, Anna?
Let's see. Tim Corcoran.
Tim.
Tim?
All
All
right.
right.
So, my name's Tim. I'm Irish. Been here in Portland in Beaverton actually since 1982. I'm not sure if my story really qualifies for travel but it did happen in another country, let's say. It happened in the country I'm from. So, you can't imagine it right now given my advanced years, but there was a time when I was an insolent teenager, trying the patience of my poor departed parents. We lived I was born in the southern part of Ireland in County Cork. And every Sunday afternoon, my dad would pile us in the car and head off somewhere beautiful for a walk. Now you can imagine, insolent teenager, I was very excited about these walks. So of course what I would do is pop on my little headphones and my little trusty cassette player Walkman, and I would try to ignore them and try to ignore the walk, usually sit in the car. This one day, my dad decided to go to my mother's favorite place on the planet, which was a little area, very remote monastic settlement, a place called Ruganbara. And Ruganbara it was founded by the patron saint of Cork City, Saint Finbar. And Finbar wanted some terribly remote place where he could build his monastery and, of course, whatever these guys do in these monasteries by themselves back in those days. So sure enough, we drive out there. It's a beautiful place. It really is a beautiful place. It's in the mountains. Yes, there are mountains in Ireland. Very, very small mountains. It's surrounded by trees, and it is a very picturesque lake. Gorgeous, gorgeous place to be alone. I suppose, but it must have been incredibly desolate back then. Anyway, in the middle of this beautiful lake, there's a beautiful little island, and on that beautiful little island is a beautiful little church built on the scene where Finbar used to have his, as they say in Irish, his kill, which is basically the hand-built church. The other thing I should mention that this lake is famous for is the swans. Now, nobody really knows where the swans came from. They just adopted the lake, but they've been there as long as anybody. So my dad gets out of the car, my mom, and they decide they're going to go for a walk, and of course I'm going to come with them, and I say, heck no, I'll stay here, put on my headphones, pull out my book, wind up the windows, so I'm enjoying nature, and minding my own business, they disappear. And I'm used to this is what happens most Sundays. All of a sudden, there's this bang, bang, bang on the window. And there's a swan. And this swan is smashing it on the glass. And I'm thinking, what the? And he's banging and he's getting really, really hard on this glass. And he's trying to break the glass, what am I going to do? It's a swan, he can hurt himself. And then I think, oh, wait a minute, I bet these swans are fed by people. That's what he's doing. He's like begging for food. So I start explaining, I don't have any food. Isn't this a universal gesture? Doesn't the swan understand this? No, he doesn't. He walks on to the other side, and thinking there's somebody else there. Just me. So I go, how do I get him to go away? And I wind down, wait a second, swans can be vicious. So I'll wind back up in there. What am I going to do? Go away. Doesn't matter. So I thought, maybe there's something to eat in the car. Wait a minute, my mother always has stuff in the glove box. So I climb over the seat, look in the glove box, and sure enough, she has a bag of candies. And I think, well, can I pinch? So I take this and I unwrap it, and I wind the window down the crack, and I put it out there, and he grabs it, and starts to walk away, and I think, oh, dodge that one, see? Piece of cake, just give him something sweet, and happy they're gone. I go back to my book. I go back to listening to my music. Everything's fine. About, 30 minutes, maybe an hour later, my parents are back. And they get in the car and they say, wow, you won't believe what we just saw. And I said, really? You won't believe what happened to me either, but you go first. And they said, well, we were just walking back across. We went out to the island to see the church, and we were walking back along the little peninsula, and we saw the swans. And there's this one swan, and there must be something really twisted about it. And I said, why? Because he keeps raising his head up like this, and then he keeps dipping in the water and he brings it up again, and he shakes it. And he seems to be going. I said, what do you think was wrong with him? He said, well, we don't know, but it's like really bizarre. And I said, where is he? And my mother says, he's over there. So I look over there, and sure enough, there's this swan. Can't open his mouth, and he swishes it around in the water. He's slowly paddling into the distance around the bend. And I'm thinking, I probably shouldn't be giving him toffee. And my mother says, well, that was our story. What's your story? And I said, oh, this is a great song I've been listening to. I love it so much. And that's my story.
Thank you, Tim. Great job. I was attacked by a swan in Discern. I wish I had a bag of toffees
To defend yourself.
yeah, just to keep them away. Who's next?
Our next teller is Vivian.
Vivian, come on up. Vivian's one of our intrepid volunteers here at the library. Let's give her another round of applause. Let's see how the level is for you.
What happened before I get to the story is the other day I was helping put together packets for the summer reading program. We had 3 teens in, and they were complaining about the fact that they had 4 years in high school to come up with 40 volunteer hours. I laughed. I've been a volunteer at the library for a little over 2 years. I just went over 900 hours. I told them there's lots of fun things you can do at the library, and you'll be at 40 in no time at all. However, last time I did a story, the first part of it, it was suggested I might want to just do that as a story, so that's what I'm going to be doing. If you ask somebody what a normal blood or a normal temperature for a human body is, they will tell you it's 98.7. Actually, they can go from about 97 to 99.5 and still be considered normal. I'm at the low range of that. One of my great fears in life is being someplace where I get chilled. Because the only way I can get warm again when I get chilled is take a hot bath. Now, in 1985, in October, I was going on a program called LEAD, which stands for Leadership
education, adventure, direction. Anyway, it involved leaving where I lived, which was in Rome City, Indiana at that time, having a ride to Fort Wayne, start hitchhiking to Roswell, that place, New Mexico, where there would be chili waiting and a bed, floor to sleep on. And then the next day, get up and hitchhike to Tenney, New Mexico, where I would be involved in 14 days of out in the wilderness. This is October. We get there Halloween night. One of the great things about going in the hitchhiking thing was that you got to experience things that, well, one, don't tell your mother. Tell your mother afterwards, but don't ever tell your mother you're going to hitchhike. I was with a married couple, and we got to Amarillo, and we got our first ride, and another couple that was going to the same thing was already in the car. But it was a short little ride from Amarillo. And so we had to get out and get another ride, and we're like, nobody is going to pick up 5 people. I mean, we're in Texas after all. And so we separated out. It took 5 rides, but every time they picked up all 5 of us. So we finally end up in Tenney, New Mexico, up in the mountains, and it is Halloween night. The sky is clear, you can see the stars, you can see the moon, and we've set up our tents, and the next morning we get up and it has snowed. We're not talking fluffy stuff, we're talking wet. Every single thing is soaked snow. So we had to switch things into another backpack, get different tents, different sleeping bags, and hike out into the wilderness and set up. And it's like, oh, was this going to be the entire time? Actually, that was once the snow melted, that was the end of the snow. And we were learning rock climbing, and it started out with learning bouldering, which is you take a big rock and it's like, get up on the rock. And the thing with everybody going on this thing is everyone has some kind of fear. We had women who had packed disinfectant wipes so that they would be minty fresh through this thing. We had ones that filled their water bottle and put it in the bottom of their sleeping bag so it would be warm in the morning so that they could wash their hair before they went out to find yeah. There were those who refused to eat because we pulled water out of the streams to cook with. We had those that were afraid of being attacked by animals. It was an interesting time. There were several different climbs. The first one actually involved and there was a number of climbs wherever we went, where you had to go up a chimney, and sort of like climbing. That's fun. So I was the first one up, and I relayed every single person up. I'm like, will I ever get down? Will I ever get to climb again? And I did my first rappel backwards, which is the way most people do it. It's great because you have your feet on the side, you go down. The next day, we go to one, and we're told that it has this thing on one of the climbs where you go up and you have to jam your hand into this thing. And you look up, and what you will see are the tails of lizards. And immediately people will scream, rattlesnake! And of course, no, it's not a rattlesnake. Now that day, I was climbing on one of the other
climbs on that one. And I walk over, and I look down beside me. This is still fairly close to the time we were covered with snow. And there is this rattlesnake. Now, I know if I say rattlesnake, they're going to go, no, it's a lizard. And Mary comes over to do the climb next to me. Now, Mary's the one who was like refusing to eat because of water out of stream. Because she had always lived in a city, and she's like, this is in no way normal. Okay. And I go, Mary, there's a rattlesnake over here. I don't think you should climb. And I called the guy that I had from the couple that that's the wrong. No more rattlesnake. Then I got to do rappel forward. This was fun because I managed to get away from the wall and could not get back on the wall. I am now upside down, and people are panicking. And I'm like, I'm in perfect control of the rope. I can see the ground. As long as I'm moving and I'm in control, I will be able to see the ground. And they're like, you need to get it. Just patience. Then we decide, or our next adventure is we're going to climb to the top of the mountain, which was interesting in that I would think, oh, there's the top of the mountain. And we get there, and there's more mountain. And it's doing this, and meanwhile, we've got guys. And you know how guys are. They like to be much. And so they're like, yeah, see that? That's mountain lion shit. See that? That's bear shit. And I look over, and Mary is just gray, and I'm just like, this poor woman. I gotta do something for her. So I started doing what I know to do because I was a camper girl. I sang a song, and I sang, one day as I was in the woods, I saw a bear in tennis shoes. One day as I was in the woods, I saw a bear in tennis shoes. Get to the last verse. And so I jumped up in the air, and I missed that branch away up there. Oh, I jumped up in the air, but I missed that branch away up there. Now don't you fret, now don't you frown, 'cause I caught that branch on the way back down. Now don't you fret, now don't you fear, 'cause I got that branch on the way back down. At which point, people were laughing, but everybody started singing the song, and Mary was much happier. By the end, I realized that everyone had different fears, but everyone was able to figure out some way to overcome them. And amazingly, I got to start a fire with one match. The reason why was we had to take toilet paper with us, and I got the big Scott roll. And the last day, I still had a lot of toilet paper left over. So I go, I'm ready. I'm going to do my fire. One match. Fire. It shied back home. It was great. I still get grief from my mother. I still get grief from my daughter for hitchhiking. And I think it was the safest thing I ever did. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Yeah, we're constantly bringing up stories with my mother, and she's, oh, no, I can't believe you did that. Sometimes it's best just not to tell me. Who's next?
Trish.
Trish. Oh, there's Trish. Come on up. Oh, Trish is taking off her jacket.
understand that today is World Ocean Day. So the story I'm going to tell fits right in there. A little bit about the ocean. And it starts like this. The Slither-Giddy came out of the sea. It got all the others, but it didn't get me. The Slither-Giddy roared out of the sea. It got all the others, but it didn't get me. The Slither-Giddy crawled out of the sea. It got all. It was spring break in Washington State. And my family, the Canes, and our friends, Ellikers, had gone to a tiny little resort on the Washington coast called Claylock. And because it was spring break, and because it was Good Friday, next day was my birthday, I got to set up my very favorite thing. I took my friend Drew, and we went down and set up a pup tent in the dry sand on the beach. So we go down the path, along the creek, around the point, and in the dry sand, past the high tide line. There we set up our tent. And that's where we went to bed that night. It was a beautiful, clear day of wonder on the Washington coast in March. And everything was just great. So meanwhile, in Seattle, my grandmother and her sisters are playing cards, drinking gin, and listening to the radio. Meanwhile, in Anchorage, Alaska, the people are just reeling and devastated because they just had over 4 minutes of a 9.2 megathrust earthquake. This was the biggest earthquake that had ever been recorded in North America, and the second biggest earthquake that had ever been recorded in the world. This was huge. And so my grandmother heard that on the radio and knew that there would be what we call a tidal wave coming, and knew that we were on the coast. And of course we're safe. Claylock is set up so there's all the cabins are up on a bluff overlooking the beach. So she calls, wakes up the cook, and he stumbles over to the cabins and wakes up Mr. Elliker. And there's a little consultation, and Mr. Elliker decides to go down the path, along the creek, and around the point, see how the kids are doing. Well, by the time he gets there, the kids are awake because the moon is so big and so bright. I had never seen such a thing in all my 10 years. And so we enjoy the beauty of the night for a couple minutes, and then things got weird. The noise of the surf went away because there were no waves, because there was no water. Mr. Elliker says, "Okay, kids, come on, we're going to go back to the cabin." And so we start to go, "Oh, should we take our sleep? No. Should we take our tent? No. Should we get, no, go." So off we go. And my friend Drew, like a gazelle, he's over the dry sand and all the little fist-sized chunks of driftwood that are up against the bluff. But I was having a harder time. And bless his heart, Mr. Elliker's helping me along. And then he just stops and says, "Trish, hold on." Grab onto him, and he's hanging onto this tree. It's really only about this big around. And then the first wash of water comes up to our knees. And it's funny, I don't remember seeing anything. I think we're in the shadow of the bluff, but I remember it was so noisy. It was just chaos. Mr. Elliker says, okay, why don't we go up here? So we just turned and we went up this bluff that's about 30 feet tall. And when I went and looked back at it a few years, well, like 40 years after the event, I just couldn't imagine going up there, but up we went. There really wasn't an option because we were scrambling through the pucker brush and pulling up on trees, and I just kept wondering, why on earth is the water still following me? And I was hanging on to my cross and praying, I swear. That prayer had been directed just a little somewhere else. I could have killed kids. But what it did was it got us to the top and we popped up, and my brother said that when we popped out, it was as though we were just churning in midair like a cartoon before we finally landed. And then I turned and I looked out at the ocean, and there was this huge swell just rolling into the coast. So there were 139 people who lost their lives in that whole thing, but only 15 of them died from the earthquake itself. That left 124 people who died from tsunami. And I guess if there's a point to my story, it's that if you are at the beach and you hear that siren, drop everything. Grab your loved ones and head off for high ground. Because he's still in the sea and he's hungry.
That was scary. We lose our mic. Lost our mic. I don't know what happened. Well, I was wondering, okay.
Maybe the tsunami got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slither.
All right, so we're going to have to speak up a little bit. I might go back and see if I can turn it back on. That was a great story. I've been to Clay Lock, and I was wondering, because it's not, those cabins aren't real high off the ground, are they? Did that other big swell, did that come in as well? Did that come up to the,
I just got directed into bed.
yeah, wow. Crazy.
Yeah.
So Ann.
Okay, we're on our last teller, and it's Janice Collins.
Okay, come on up, Janice. And Janice, I might, I see like, yeah, come on,
Something on the mic?
Is there a switch on there?
oh, there is maybe a switch. Yeah, there is a switch on the mic.
I know. I know it's conspiracy.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the old switch.
Great suggestion. Okay, Janice. All right, let's see. Yeah, let's put it in with a good adjustment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine. Can you hear me? Yeah, right. Hi, everybody. Well, my story began exactly this time of year, only it was a few years ago. It all started in the parking lot of my student apartment in Eugene, Oregon. I was standing there with my 510 Datsun station wagon, my best friend from Missoula, Montana, and the prospect of driving about 700 miles to Missoula, which was our destination. You see, it was 1972. I had just graduated from the University of Oregon, and my girlfriend had driven out, or flown out, so that she could drive back with me to Missoula, my hometown, where I was going to spend my very last summer with my parents. Colleen hopped in the driver's seat of my car, which was already packed, and said, "Get in, I've got a new plan." Now, Colleen and I had been best friends all through grade school. We were inseparable. And
Colleen and I were very good at coming up with schemes and plans. In fact, we had a reputation for coming up with some very creative schemes, most of which were not well thought out. For example, in the 7th grade, we both developed this major crush on our teacher, Mr. Peterson, who was married, much older than me, but we thought he was so cute. So we had this big crush on him, and we decided to give him a Christmas present. We bought him Silk on the Road. A present, but we did not really think through how he would use it or in what state until after we gave it to him. And then, so we spent the rest of Christmas vacation humiliated and just deciding we were never going to go back to school. Our parents had a different idea. But that's when we were children. Now, we were adults, and we just graduated from college, and quite frankly, there wasn't much we didn't know. So, what I didn't know, though, was why Colleen was driving on I-5 South. I'm directionally impaired, but this seemed wrong to me. I said, should we be going a different direction? She said, we're going to San Francisco first. I'm going to show you the big city. Now, Colleen had spent one summer, the summer before, working in San Francisco, so this sounded like a marvelous idea to me. And we drove into San Francisco. It was starting to get dark. And we didn't even think about, the fact that we looked like the Beverly Hillbillies. All of my belongings were like thrown in the back of the station wagon. Lamps, pots and pans, groceries, my clothes strewn over the top of this whole mess. And, we didn't have much money, but that didn't stop Colleen from driving directly into the center of the city and parking in front of one of the nicest hotels there. When the doorman opened my door, a can of Campbell soup rolled out and hit me in the foot. But undeterred, we came marching in to, this nice, beautiful lobby, and I said, we would like a room for the two of us for tonight. Well, I think that's just said a room for the two of us, and he quoted us a price, and I said, no, we just want it for one night. And he kind of looked us up and down in our cut-off jeans and our t-shirts and said, I have another hotel in mind for you that I think would work out better. And so we went to this other facility. It was on the other side of town, and it was quite different. There was no marble in this lobby. In fact, the desk was behind bars. And the clerk behind the bars looked like she'd been on about a 3-week bender. She demanded cash for the room, which we plunked down. She gave us a key and said, room 308. So we clunked our suitcases up the creaky, kind of dirty stairs and found our room, opened the door, and we're both kind of like groping inside the walls for the light switch, which we never found. But with the light shining in the window, I could see a man's shaving kit open on the dresser, and just about then Colleen said, oh my God, there's a man in the bed, and grabbed me. We slammed the door and ran downstairs to tell the clerk. We thought she'd be shocked. There's a guy in our room. She went, gave us another key and said, try room 205. So we got up to room 205, and there was no one there. But we had plenty of company that night. Through the thin, dirty walls, we could hear the couple next door fighting all night. And the couple on the other side were not fighting. We didn't sleep very well. But we had a great time showing, doing the sights in San Francisco. And then we moved on to Reno. And I was feeling like, oh yeah, I know a little bit about Reno because I had been there. On the same trip that my parents had taken us to Disneyland in Las Vegas. And to me, Reno, Las Vegas, I was in the 4th grade at the time, they were the same basic city. I thought they were identical, only just little different locations. So I had one goal, and it was based on a story my mother had told me on this trip. She had told me about loving this dinner show where she'd seen the showgirls, the dancing girls, and with the big plumes, the whole thing. The sequined outfits. I was determined to see that. So we got all gussied up the first night, prancing up to our desk in our motel. And I said, where can we find the dancing girls? The woman cocked her eyebrow and looked at me and she goes, what? And I said, you know, the dancing girls. You know, Viva Las Vegas, you know, the plumes, She said, honey, this ain't Las Vegas. And I said, well, yeah, but I mean, it's Reno, right? But you have dancing girls, right? She goes, I suppose. So she opens up the drawer and she fumbles around and she goes, here, go to this club. Here's a couple of tickets for a couple of free drinks. Well, that sounded great to me, free drinks. So we went cooling down to this club. When we walked in, it wasn't quite what I expected. Not as elegant as I was expecting. It was kind of dark and small. And we were greeted by the waitress, who was dressed in a leopard bikini bottom. And she brought us our free drinks. And then proceeded to, I think we tipped her a quarter. And she put the tray down on an empty table, picked up the quarter, walked over to the jukebox, put the quarter in the jukebox, kicked off her stiletto heels, got up on one of the tables, and started dancing. She was not a good dancer. I said, Colleen, this isn't what I had in mind. Colleen said, yeah, where are the feathers? Anyway, so that was Reno. But Colleen, we weren't in Las Vegas, that's true, but we were in Nevada. And Colleen had made a new friend, the slot machine. Now, I insisted we didn't spend any time in casinos, but this, one-armed bandits, they were everywhere. So every time we bought a souvenir, ate any food, we had these guys present. So Colleen started depositing her change every time before she left. So our budget, which was meager to begin with, was getting even smaller, which might explain how we ended up in our next accommodations. As we approached the border of Nevada, it was late at night, and we were exhausted and fairly broke. So we were looking for a place to stay, and I saw a motel sign actually, in the near distance, and it looked like a cheap enough sign, and I thought, hey, this is our place. So what we found is this place on the border. It was a very odd motel. It was a bunch of trailers, and there were a lot of semis parked around there and trucks. And so we found the trailer that said office. We went up. We went, prancing in there. I said, we'd like a room. And the man looked at us and kind of quizzically looked at us and said, for the whole night? And I said, as opposed to what? And Colleen said, look, we're tired. Yes. Plunked her money down, got the key, and we proceeded to find our trailer. Well, we went inside, and it was fine, except there was one problem. The door did not have a lock on it. And so we thought, we were too tired to go back to the office and complain. And so we devised a plan. Colleen said, let's push one of the beds, your bed, in front of the door, which I agreed to. And we were so exhausted when we pushed this bed that we did not notice what was unusual about this bed. So during the night, I'm feeling pretty confident that we're safe with this bed in front of the door, but I didn't sleep very well because the sound of trucks pulling in and out of the parking lot all night, and the sound of women giggling and then talking in muffled voices. And so finally, when the morning rolled around, I literally rolled out of bed and realized that the bed that I was sleeping on was on wheels. Our fortress. Well, we got home safe and sound with no further incidents. And it was probably years before the two of us realized that the trailer motel was really a meeting place for prostitutes. That the hotel, the flop house that we stayed in San Francisco, we were probably inches away from being shot in the face. And third, that Mr. Peterson probably had nothing but a good laugh over his soap opera.
Thank you, Janice. For those who don't know Janice, she was making a comment about the conspiracy there with the microphone because she was a storyteller at our Story Slam kickoff for our Art of the Story Festival, which happens in the spring last year. And I was filming it, and I forgot to press start at the beginning. And I realized it pretty much right away, but we missed probably the first minute of Janice's story, so she's been very forgiving, and I'm still self-flagellating myself later. But anyway, Janice did a great job, and I think, do we have any other tellers?
That's it.
That's it. Did anyone else have a idea that they want to tell a story? Yes? Yes? Yeah. What's your name?
Donna.
Donna, come on up, Donna. All right, Donna's going to tell a story.
All right.
That's okay.
Okay, if I can get up to
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Hello. Okay. Well, I didn't prepare, and I wasn't going to say anything, but I have a different kind of a story. Of course, they've all been different. But my story starts, my traveling story, if you can call it that. It starts when I was born. I was coming out of my mama, and the nurse got scared and pushed me back in. So that was quite a trip for me. And my mother, my poor mother. But that was just the start of, I had a lot of illnesses because I didn't have enough white blood cells when I was born. But I'm here, and I'm almost 70 years old, and I think that's great. My perseverance, my mother's perseverance, but, and I got a lot of help about dealing with all of these different things I had. Another trip that I had in the hospital was, I think it was my kidney infection. I've been in there so much, but it was my kidney infection, and it was about 4, 5, something like that. And I had a blast because here I was alone in this hospital, and I was in the what do you call it, where all the kids are, and I don't remember being scared or anything. I just had fun. And I was there to be quiet and stay in my bed, but I didn't. So I'd run around the halls. I got in, you've probably never seen one, or maybe somebody that's as old as I am have seen them. These, okay, my mind is not working. Wheelchairs. Okay, sorry about that. They were wooden wheelchairs, and they were really fun. So I'd get in them, and I'd just go down, barreling down the hallways. Supposed to be quiet and sleepy, but that's one thing I remember doing. And then this is why I got up here spontaneously, because I used to do that in the hospital. Being a little kid, and I would, I don't know why the nurse did this, but she showed me around the rooms of the other kids, and I would go after lunch, right before bedtime or nap time, I would go around and tell stories in every room, to the kids in the room, and nobody taught me how to tell stories. I mean, how do you tell such wonderful stories. I think you're you're either born with it or you're not. But I just remember having fun, and this one girl was blind in there, and so I have no idea what story I said, but I just had so much fun visiting them and telling them stories before they went to sleep. I don't know if I ever went to sleep, but probably took a nap somewhere. sometime. So that was one of my first two visits to the hospital. I'm trying to remember some more. Oh, and then when I came home, that was not fun. My mother brought me home because because I was getting sicker in the hospital because I was moving around too much. So she brought me home, put me in a bed, and I was mad. I didn't want to go home and lay in this bed. So she gave me a sleeping pill, which didn't work because that just made me even more. I'm one of those, you give me one thing and it does the opposite of what it's supposed to do. I remember that. I was banging my head. I was really mad. It was really crazy. But I survived coming home in my bed. And then went to school and had a fairly normal life. And then I started having these tumors all over. And the first one I had, I was in high school, I guess, trying to remember, 14 or something. Yeah, I was 14. And I had a roommate. She was in her 20s or something. She was an old lady. And she had been in a car accident. She told me about it. Somebody just crashed right into her. And so I was feeling okay because I was used to being in the hospital. So I was trying to encourage her and told her stories, like I normally do. And she got relaxed. And then just a calm came over me, and I think a calm came over her too. And what I've gotten from just these couple of incidents is that the more I give, the more I get. And we were both just having so much fun talking to each other all night, which I think I was supposed to sleep again. And I wasn't. I was talking with her, but we were all calm and peaceful. And I was so glad that I could help her and myself, because that was pretty, I didn't want an operation cut up. And I had quite a lot of those later on. And then I'm just going to tell you about a couple of the newest things that happened to me. Finally got, well, it wasn't brand new, but it was a new car, the car I still have. And it was all white and beautiful, and I was having so much fun driving it. And I was sitting still at a light, and this lady, I still think she had to be high on something. We were on an over thing of a bridge, and the traffic was like this. We weren't going anywhere, and it was 2 lanes, and back to back to back. There was nowhere to go. I still figured she must have wanted in my lane, but she had to be high on something. And because we were so close to each other, all of the cars on both lanes, but she kept going boom, boom, about 7 times, and I was going, ah! I couldn't get out of the car. I just knew I was being. So I still have back trouble down here for that, or up here. And then, because 3 weeks later, I was sitting and trying to turn right, and I had to wait for the traffic, and this guy comes up, boom, my new car, 2 accidents in 3 weeks. And that one, well, one of them hurt my neck, and it still hurts, and my lower back still hurts from those, and those were like 4 years ago. I did have to go to the hospital, but I was not too happy about that. And then, okay, now what was I going to tell you? And then about a month later after that, I was going to work. And I got out of my car this time and was dragging my material because I was testing students. And I turned to look at somebody, turned back, and broke my foot. And it's good, because I'm almost done. And I broke my foot. So that was 3 accidents in like 3 months or 2.5 months. And so I'm still recovering, even though it's been years ago. And so those were my trips to Fun and but I'm still laughing, and I'm still telling stories, and I can still joke about all of that. But I sure wish I was younger and had all that stuff. Because sometimes I can hardly walk, but I'm okay.
Thank you, Donna. Donna, stay out of the cars.
It doesn't matter whether it's cars.
Oh, quite the journey. Well, we've actually, I would say, does anyone else want to tell? But we've actually run out of time because the library closes at 9.
Yeah.
And yeah, so first of all, can we all give the tellers a big round of applause? You guys all did great. And also, audience who came to listen, please give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for coming. We do have the fabulous $10 gift certificate to determine. Anne, are you going to let a random audience member draw that out of the
I am. You're going to be the
Okay. She looks like she could be a plant. She's drawn it.
Okay. The winner is Yassine.
I think the fix is in. Yusuf won this certificate last time. Well, $10 goes a long way at the book corner, so congratulations, Yassine. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Please fill out a little survey if you've got a moment. You don't, even if nothing else, if you want to leave your email, and we'll let you know when the next slam is. There will be one in September, I believe.
Photo release.
Oh, and also, if you don't mind, we've taken a lot of photos here, and if you don't mind signing the photo release, those are going to be right over here. That would be great. And also, I will, if you're interested, let me know, and I can put the video up on YouTube if you want to see yourself tell the story.
Okay.
Don't want to see yourself on YouTube. Let me know, and I'll take you out.
You know the theme for September?
No, and actually, we haven't decided on a theme yet, but there's a chance it might have something to do with borders, coming to a new country. And we have a welcoming week for immigration. We do a big thing with new people, new citizens, so we're thinking of doing something.
All right, we are now. Oh, either way. Just one of these?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, got young eyes. Also, that happened.
Is that enough? Or do I need anything?
That is enough. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much.
If you do not mind, please write the description as well so that it will be easy to identify the books.
Oh, the description, okay.
Yeah, or the show.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Because Emma will be doing the transfer.
Right, gotcha. Right.
This is 7.
It's the 8.
It's the 8.
As they say, you ain't been looking good.
Thank you. I enjoyed yours as well.
I have a travel story about the time I was in the Navy in the
What was
office.
the names of the towns?
My
Like,
friend was on a bigger ship, and said my ship was disappeared behind the waves and pop up. We were seatbelted into bed, it was horrendous. I absolutely knew we were all going to just die.
My mom was sailing between Australia and New Zealand,
Oh my goodness.
and she said she loves disasters. She's always saying, "Just get your shit out, we're going to a fire."
I like this person, I like that, yeah.
She's something else, but she went out on the stern of the ship, and she looked out, and there was water there, there was water there, there was water there, and when there was water there, she just went back inside.
Wow. Wow.
It's the 8.
It's the 8.
It's the 8.
Yeah.
Taxi driver where to go.
Yeah.
Should I hide my lamp?
If you can just put like a short description of what you're wearing, just so that when they can identify who
Oh,
it is
okay.
in the photos.
So when I was up
I'm going to
there.
be German, which is what they spoke. We have like 3 sections of Germany. The southern one is the Italian section, kind of the north east is primarily German.
I think that's it.
North west is primarily French.
What an
Like
amazing
one
story.
Swiss
Oh,
for-
thank you.
My
Like, they
goodness.
don't use
Thank
the,
you.
the weird
Very
beeping
well
thing,
told,
or
and
the
really like,
sound of German
what an
versus
amazing
the West.
experience to have.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's why I had to tell that story, because, just get some of the energy out of it.
Yeah,
He carried
wow.
around with me.
Has it kind of become mythic over the years in your life, like that story of being in a
Well,
tsunami?
actually, it's just kind of nothing. Like, I hadn't been back to Claylock for like 40 years.
Yeah.
I went back and I almost had a panic attack. And then when they had the big tsunami in Japan, I watched that all day and broke out in hives.
Oh my
I
gosh.
thought, I need to figure this out.
So obviously, on a very subconscious level, it was deep in
The
there.
experience was from the first tsunami, not the second one.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
So,
So, thank you.
Hopefully that's
It's the 8th.
It's the 8th.
Yep.
And it's the 6th month.
Yep. Of the 2017 year.
Yeah, one of those things.
You
Okay.
just give like a short description of what you're wearing, just so we can identify it.
Might be nice.
How will we know about the YouTube?
Are you on the email
He's the
list?
YouTube
I
guy.
am.
Okay, I will, I usually send out, I usually just send out a blanket email saying, I've uploaded the link, so I can send you the link to my channel. That's usually what I do. So, but if you just go onto YouTube and you Google Blaine Ross YouTube channel,
Thank you
I
so
the
much.
fourth one down.
Sure.
So
There you
yeah,
go. Oh, and
it'll be
actually,
up
I'll
there
give you the
right
blue
away,
ones,
but I
too.
will get it. I have to do some
Thanks for
editing
taking
usually.
photos.
If there's
That's
music or
great.
something on it.
Always my pleasure.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I have my card
Great.
too.
Nice to meet you too.
I can just give you. Thanks for coming, Alfred. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have a card. I'll give it to you, and then for sure you can just email me,
Okay.
and then I'll make sure you get the link. So
Woohoo.
yeah,
That's the first time I've told.
you did a great job.
You did do a great job.
That was
yeah.
I was kind of on the edge of my seat because I thought, oh my God, earthquake. I mean, that was the '64 earthquake, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
yeah.
And
You know about that.
and I know, yeah, my dad was an engineer. He went up to that Alaska afterwards for that. I was like 6 months old.
To help with like the
He
recovery
went up
from
to
it?
and more
Or
to
just
like
to check
look
it
at
out?
what had been. He has some amazing pictures from what happened. But when you said Claylock, I was just thinking, oh my God, because the bluff is not more than what 20 or 30 feet high. I guess where the cabins are, it's a little higher.
I have no idea. I was thinking, like when I was a kid, I thought it was,
Yeah.
5 stories.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, the campground itself, the bluff isn't particularly high. I'm just thinking 20 or 30 feet. And I'm thinking a tsunami could easily inundate that
It could have
area.
wiped it out.
Yeah.
But it didn't. They were,
Yeah.
It's amazing
high
what
and
just the
dry.
angle of it. Like I
Yeah.
think in Southern Oregon or is it in Northern California, there's that one bay that always gets hit really heavy by tsunamis, and it's just like the angle where the water comes in.
Mhm.
Did you ever talk to the man who basically like saved your life?
Mr. Elliker?
Mr.
Yeah,
Elliker? Did you ever talk to
friends.
him about it?
No. And, it's like, I was the youngest kid.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I just lived in a little Trish bubble, and I didn't
But
think
at
about
10 years old, that's a pretty memorable time.
it. Was, it was
Yeah.
a big deal. And
Yeah.
that was something
Wow.
crazy.
I'm glad he went to get you guys.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm guessing so. Did you go back in the tent and everything was gone? Probably, right? That was small
I
wash.
don't really remember much of the next day.
Sure,
I think there
yeah.
was a fair amount of stress. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like, my folks are really cool about it. It's
Yeah.
like, I didn't think it was, oh, I'm okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to know.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good start because it's going to happen. We're
Well,
overdue.
if I can remind people to
Yeah.
No, it's
pay
not the importance,
attention.
yeah.
Because there were, I was doing a little research for this, and there were some stories about people who decided they wanted to watch. And it's so attractive. I mean, look at
Well,
you know,
yeah,
my
you
mom,
would
get
want
your
to,
shoes on,
yeah.
we're going
Yeah.
to fire. You
Right,
know, it's
right.
like, no,
No.
you go to higher ground,
Yeah.
and then you can watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think back in those days too, I mean, I know that people had seen those before, but you know, probably people weren't quite as aware of the damage something like that could do.
I know, it's just kind of, we weren't so global.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
Well, thank you for telling.
Yeah, that was
And
fascinating.
thank you for
story.
listening.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
And
well,
thanks for
Anytime.
just being so brave and doing it. It's
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come back. You'll come back again, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Once you've got one under your belt, you want to do another one.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
Love
have
to
to,
have you
I'll
tell
have to
again.
think how to stitch those stories together into something that works out.
I bet you have some other stories.
Yeah. That's why we try and have
Yeah,
broad
okay.
themes.
Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome. Right, that was pretty. I think we had like 40. Yeah, I counted at one point.
Yeah, it was around 40 people.
I'm gonna say 40.
That's good.
Okay, I turned this off. Oh wait, so she was in there? That's
No,
not right.
I put it in there and then
Oh,
you
you
gave it
did.
to me,
Okay.
so.
Okay. I didn't realize you put it in there.